You all know the 4 agreements of the Toltecs. First, impeccability of the words. Second, do not take anything personally. 3, do not make assumptions. 4th, always make the maximum effort. This brings a clarity and lucidity in your life that you easily navigate through the synchronicity of the magnetic threads, as we talked in the video of the magic of synchronicity and the flexibility. When we decree something out loud and make part of this decree to the rest of the people, a ring is formed in the magnetic threads that connect the timelines and people to make that decree take place. As when you introduce a goal into your superconscious mind, it takes you by detours, learning mistakes that are necessary for you to learn what you have to learn before reaching the goal. Serendipity is generated. Find something that you were not looking for, as it happens with the scientists, and make good of everything bad, because you understand that everything leads you to learn what was necessary to learn. Creativity emerges as a sudden inspiration that does not need any correction. This is well known by artists. When it falls all once and perfect. That's why it often says that when I'm inspired, I hope it catches me working. This does not rule out that there has been a lot of training and previous work to make this happen suddenly and in one go. The superconscious mind is forged and augmented with simple exercises, not putting an alarm clock by, but putting the goal in your mind and when you should wake up. And you wake up just before the exact minute. Visualize finding a place to park where you need it, and you will find it. The more you do it and the more you believe it, the better it works. With the tone of your voice and the intention we give these decrees in a low voice or in the loud voice. This creates a ring in the magnetic threads and reverberates throughout the environment, creating the decree as true and worthy of being fulfilled. But without impeccability of the word, everything is lost. Impeccability means that everything you say you do, that you respond to the needs and interactions with others with the proper respect for the situation and the person, who can be counted on you because you are conscious, lucid, and responsible for what you say and do. The voice and your word is royalty. There is no need for paper contracts, because the contracts was made in the heaven, referring to magnetic threads and connections with your higher self. More impeccability in everything you do is more integrity in your relationships and more ease of synchronicities to navigate in this complicated world of life towards true love without conditions or borders. The voice communicates that decree as a message to the cells of the body that communicate through the light, and consequently heals through the resonance, the frequencies, the vibrations, and the entanglement of energies that makes them synchronize and interact. Nothing inside must turn off that light. Doubts, guilt, incomprehension, intolerance, and distrust are the worst enemies to that inner light that must shine out. Only your impeccability will keep it shining inside and out. Diseases are densities and knots of magnetic filaments of experiences and memories with other people who are inside that field of light of biophotons. When you start to vibrate at higher levels, all those densities come off and go away forever. That is why the body needs more light inside to heal itself, but it must be accompanied by what your voice commands and decrees. It is the 5th bioemotional center that orders both inside and outside to come to create and manifest everything in life. Therefore, everything you speak with impeccability, so that that light does not go out, with the right intention, leads you to heal and towards your goals. It takes whatever time it takes, but it takes you by necessary detours, and you must not lose neither the verbal decree nor the goal in that sinuous walk of the sound that is shaping your filaments and your timelines with the magic of synchronicity and serendipity. Here I give you the 10 steps to create the hologram of your Maya reality. The first step, you have an image of something, and the way you define it is with the word. The spoken word is really what makes that we assure that we know what we want. If we name it with loud voice, it's a way to confirm it. If you say it to another person, it's a way to compromise yourself. There are people that don't want to say nothing. It's all a secret. But really, if you're going to tell somebody something, it's better to know that you can really do it. For me, all of that you don't want to say it, tell anybody, is that you're not sure if you can do it. You're going to fulfill it. So really, it's good to talk about it with somebody, or if not, record it. The second step is that when you name it, you hear how it sounds, how you say it. It actually is very important to record your voice, to hear yourself say it, name it. For that reason, we need to speak to other people, and it's that we have it confused. We speak with others so that they hear us and we hear ourselves. Also that this some rebounds that something they say could actually be useful to us. And the person says, you don't listen to me. We don't have to listen to the other. We don't have to follow what their advice is. We simply have to talk so that we name what we want. And when we talk, we really should listen to ourselves when we say it. But what happens, we get so involved in talking that we don't listen to what we're saying. For that reason, recording it is something very important so you can listen to yourself afterwards. To listen what you're saying is really important. Up on top, you don't hear yourself the same. It's how you say it. And when you listen to it, you say, oh, I could have mean it this way or the other way. It's a way to correct. Really, you want this? If you really want it. So when you really listen to yourself, talk about it, and you feel that you really want it, it's a step more. The third step is that you listened maybe has given you doubts or uncertainties. Or maybe it's not exactly like that what you wanted. Or when you talked it with somebody, maybe gave you another idea of what you wanted. You have time, it doesn't materialize immediately. Actually, we would have more problems if they did materialize immediately. It would be really difficult if it materialized everything we thought immediately. We will really be careful of what we think. So now we have time to know, now that we've put it outside, if it really is useful to us or not. How much time did it go through? Well, now everything is faster. Maybe it is useful, and now you know that it's right with your motivation, and you feel that, yes, this is what I want. That is all correct. If not, you change it, whatever you need, to make it sure that it's what you really want. The fourth step, visualize this shape when it happens, and see if things and people are helping you to reach it. Look inside of yourself. What is this going to cause in your surrounding? Is this getting, seems that it's getting closer to you? Because it's obvious that we are not alone. We have to see what is the effect that this does in the world around you. Are you still feeling the same thing? Or do you have to modify something because something is not going to be right for somebody, or so it's not good for somebody? That it bounces back in a way that you don't really want it. That maybe you do something that somebody feels insulted, or that you've abandoned them. You have time. It's the fourth step. You have time. But what happens is that in the midst of all these steps, we maybe have forgotten really the view of what we wanted. So or maybe somebody has convinced us that it's not like that. So you see, it's not so easy to reach, because we cannot do it alone. Our hologram is being done with the hologram of other people. So we have a collective hologram and an individual hologram. And the personal hologram is reacting to several collective holograms. We have time. We maybe can correct something so that nobody gets hurt, so that this hasn't got a bad provocation in it, anything, or a negative reaction that they won't let you. The fifth step seems like things seem to be flowing. It seems that the life is getting you there. That it seems to be materializing. Something is not going to be negatively influenced, because it's obvious that in the movement you can create obstacles. So now you have to really watch your motivation, your intention, and look within yourself inside to see if everything is correct. You're seeing the obstacles, you're seeing the reality of the holograms of other people, their situations, and here maybe you start to give up, thinking maybe I'm not going to be able to get this person is going to be against it, that one is going to be hurt. Do you have resources to be able to continue? Do you have the resources to be able to fix it? Well, maybe you can modify something. It's turning around the obstacle. It's obvious we're not alone. Nobody is alone. And we're always going to find these things whenever we want something. So you see what you have to learn from the experience. I have to learn something from this experience, and I have to learn to turn it around. Wait until this person understands it, or to learn to communicate it better. Sometimes it's here when you get blocked and we forget what we wanted. If not, it's going into something that you know that by rebouncing it might go back to you and will block you later. Here is where your ability, your how to do things, resources and flexibility, it's very important, because we are not alone. And you can see that somebody has put an obstacle for you. If really something that you have to do and you have to do it, that obstacle is only for you to learn, okay? Really, this is the most important. It's important. The sixth step. We've decided that really we can go ahead, that it's going to happen, that we can reach that goal, that we can see that we have overcome the obstacles, that we could have turned things around, that really we can this has been very overwhelming, and it has been supported and taken care of. So things are closer, it's almost done. Here in this step is when you start getting synchronicities, magic. It's another time you have to go back to yourself and say to yourself, is this really what I want? Is this a really good purpose in my life? Or maybe, of course, as you are interacting with other people, is not really the same as when you conceived it at the beginning. It has modified itself. Can you see that there is some similarities, or that maybe to what it has changed, it is even better? This is serendipity. Something has changed because really everything doesn't happen with the strategies that we have planned. They even come out in a more unrealistic, amazing way. More hallucinating, really. Very different from what we had planned, really. It's amazing. I have a very privileged mind, and I could have think of thousands of ways it could happen, and never happens the way I have imagined. Okay, this is important. The seventh step starts to manifest what you desire. Magic starts, and you start to observe the synchronicity, and maybe they're totally absurd, maybe they have no sense. That in a strange way you're starting to get close to what you wanted. And now what? Is when you really have to let go and don't question. You trust that you are going to reach that desire, that image, that word that you named, that you needed for your evolution. It's obvious that the things that are in contact with your evolution are the ones that you're going to reach. The problem is that you don't remember why you came, why you're here, and how you're going to evolve, so you don't choose correctly. And when this is really going towards the direction of you evolving and evolving your surrounding, be sure that the universe is going to help you. This is the seventh step, and we are really close to reach it, our goal. And it would be different to the way we planned it. And also it has been delayed because we didn't take into account everything that would have to be taken into account. And we needed to pass through those. So we're going to pass to the eighth step, and we're almost reaching the end. In the 8th step, you realize you're not alone in your journey, that you have to do a compromise, a negotiation that you were not expecting to have. Well, that is the hidden message, that we are not alone. It's again that is asking for you to have flexibility, so that you recognize the truth that you're not doing this for yourself alone. So in this case, do you have flexibility? Do you have adaptability to see the negotiations that life is asking from you, or the person or the situation is asking from you? So here I say, put again the word, your intention, your motivation. So finally you realize how this was something that was in conjunction with other people, how your path is helping others too. Now you can modify slightly the word because you are conscious that this is not only for you. This is very important because you realize that whatever you enjoy, other people enjoy it too. We might live alone. Many women in this process have learned to live alone. But when you have somebody with whom you share, even if it's at a distance, you really enjoy it more. The 9th step, and I'll tell you, I don't know it because I've just written it, and the way things happen is that they suddenly appear, they all fall down all at one go. So I hardly have read it to correct it. So I have hardly done any corrections. I think none. So in this 9th step, you finally have modified something in that desire of not being alone, or not doing it alone. So you compromise with another person that is in the same path to that goal. You appreciate what you've learned, and you appreciate that you have someone with whom you can share it. Any person or any experience, maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's an animal. Everything is possible. There's infinity of possibilities. Obstacles are there until you actually realize that you're not alone in your path. That all that you do is really for a community. That is the 9th step. And when you know that it's not for you alone, life is going to help you. And we reach the last step, which really is magical. And what I want to tell you with these things is that really, that even if they're unrealistic and they're really difficult to reach, if they are in your path of evolution, you're going to get it. You're going to, it's going to happen. Even if it's the most difficult things to imagine. You really don't know how you got there, and you don't really know how you are going to get there. So the last step, I'm going to read it because I haven't read it. 10th step. Now you're close to the goal that you wanted, and you have changed everything you needed to change. You have been flexible, and you have had the resources to be able to overcome all the obstacles. You realize that this was not addressed only for you, that this was benefiting a few people or a lot of people. You have the assistance to be able to do this idea and to materialize it. You have an experience that gives you trust. And if you look backwards, or you look towards inwardly yourself, you will realize how wonderful the path has been to get here. That has taken you to materialize this goal. What was only an image now is something concrete and real. Are you aware of how much your reality has changed to be able to reach this other reality? So this is the reason why things are not exactly the way we want it. Because constantly we are doing what I told you about the eye, that the brain will check out every 3 seconds if you're looking at one way or another, like a step if you see it from below or from above. So it's correcting every 3 seconds when what the visual is, and when it's stopped doing that is because it's not new anymore, because it has already decided how it is. Like this we don't learn, like this we don't grow. This is what has happened with matter. We have it like that, we know it the way it is, and we have it under control. The real magic is to do it, to be able to participate and not ask nothing in return. We're not asking for benefit ourselves economically, or to benefit or to take from anybody else. You're capable of donating it, of giving it away, or to continue your way, your path, to continue creating more. This is very important. I have been looking for this idea of the hologram maybe 30 years, so suddenly it came out all the pieces started to fit. I've given it away like that, just like that, altruistically, and enjoying doing a video about it. So what happens is that you're empty and you have to fill it up again, and it fills up again. That's the magic of Maya during all your life in your planet Earth, Gaia. If you arrived here, you are ready to enter into another dimension for the future and to create more for the others. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay, so now you have techniques to enter into your future and live it. These exercises are in the video Maya, the hologram, which has given you this previous to knowing about it. I'm talking about Maya, creating your reality, and be able to go to the past and change something in the past. Each one of us has to do something with the past, from this life or other lives. Each one of us is a whole world, and each one of us is different. It's the paradox of the traveling in time, and if you go to the past, you cannot kill your grandfather because you wouldn't exist. And that the traveling to the future, we understand it much better because we see ourselves in the future. At least I know that this happens to me a lot. We see things in the future and we start walking towards them. Or we start doing it. But the geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci or Tesla, they have this capacity to go to the future and start walking towards it, or to materialize, to reach it, to get to what they saw. What happens is that they were pretty alone, lonely. And for that reason it didn't materialize. We could have listened to him, but things would not be the same as we know for electricity in the planet. And Leonardo da Vinci in another time, but also similar. What happened, he was one, and things do not materialize by one person alone. It gives the inspiration or the possibility that we can get there. But we have to reach there together. Here I put it, can we really go to the past? Can we change something that it doesn't alter negatively the results of our present time, and that would help us reach the best results possible? So maybe yes, we can change the past with consciousness, and we can do something to change the actual situation. Now for the future, this is what we should do then. With your voice you decree, order and bend your external reality, but without taking into account the others involved, you will not walk in the right direction. Know yourself and know the wishes and needs of others, and with flexibility adapt all you can, and your goals will finally be reality. This is the philosophy behind the software and the mobile application bioLUXsonic. If Mary Shelley would have known all of this and had this application for mobiles, she would have created a more beautiful and human Frankenstein. Life manifests itself in colors, in a constant pendular yin-yang movement. It absorbs one color and reflects its complementary color. The warm red inside the body inverts to cold blue. Inverse waves create the motor of life and its infinite energy, and the colors are the emotions.